Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we are considering, for your approval, the FP Journe Octa Calendrier, a discontinued model made, as you see it here, from 2004 to 2015 when the last examples of it went out as special series. So what makes this different from the previous Calendrier is that it features the rose gold generation of FP Journe caliber 1300. So 40 millimeters in diameter in rose gold. It features a blasted matte white gold dial. So it is gold, gold, and gold all the way around. 40 millimeters in diameter, 10.5 millimeters thick. It is 47.9 millimeters from edge to edge with a 20 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. So we're going to throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it wears quite nicely. You can see that the lugs are quite inboard of the edge of my wrist, so no concerns there. When viewed from over the top, this exaggerates the width of the watch, but you can see the watch is still not over the edge of my wrist. And with a domed bezel and a relatively slim profile, it will easily fit underneath the cuff. The timepiece features a strap, which, as you can see, is an FP Journe factory piece. It is a very dark blue, small round scale alligator leather on the bottom, large symmetrical rectangular scale on the top with a little bit of a distressed treatment. So this is a very expensive strap, both because the top cut is an expensive one and because the bottom cut is gator and not calfskin. This is more durable, lasts longer, costs a few $100s more, but a watch like this is easily worth it. You can see no crimping, no gouging. Pull tab spring bars, you can pop the strap off the case without tools, and because the lugs are drilled fairly close to the case to prevent any impediment to the motion, a curved spring bar is used here. That also allows the strap to gracefully match the arc of the case. We've got a simple rose gold pin buckle that is FP Journe branded. Journe, of course, featuring a unique retrograde portrayal of an annual calendar. So this is the Calendrier. It is a model with a quick set mechanism that allows you to easily swap the day, and when adjusting in the opposite direction, you can swap the day and the date. And being a retrograde, it adds a little bit of dynamism to the normally staid and inert calendar complication. It's always fun to run the watch through the full jump. Quite entertaining. Annual calendar, one adjustment annually during the jump from February to March, so you will make that one correction per year. Taking a look at the dial, you can see that we've got this sub-dial with seconds and hours and minutes. We have Journe's distinctive blued, sort of biomorphic tapered hands. There's something very naturalistic about that shape, almost like a teardrop or a drop of water or rain falling. You can see that we have a dial-side polished steel bezel, and dial-side visible assembly screws. This was controversial when Journe first broached this style in the late 90s, but it's been almost universally copied at this point. Journe is nothing if not a trendsetter. You have Journe's distinctive unbranded but instantly recognizable knurled double dimple crown. You can see the case is all of high polish. The lugs turn 90 degrees down from the horizontal sweep of the case band. Mid-case defined by the overlapping lip of the case back and the bezel. And then we jump to the case back, and you can see Octa caliber 1303. So quite a few changes in the years since the original Octa. Of course, the big ones being the swap from brass to gold in 2004, mid-2004, and then probably sometime around 2007, probably mid-year, the swap from ETA-style bidirectional winding to more efficient unidirectional winding. So this has all those revisions. And you can easily see that we've got a 22-karat rotor that's slightly smaller than the case back. And this was explained to me by Journe as necessary to configure the dial side of the movement to mount natively to modular complications. So the off-centered winding system has something to do with accommodating modular complications on the dial side. So that's the purpose of that. Now it's a 3 Hertz beat rate. It's 5-position adjusted, which is the high horologian chronometer standard. It has a relatively large balance with a lot of mass. That's how it makes up in chronometric terms for its relatively low 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate. It's also free sprung, which means it can be very precisely adjusted using the eccentric screws on the balance. But then it's also a very shock resistant, as concussion or shock can't bump and change the orientation of a mobile stud index because it doesn't have a mobile stud index. Yes, the bridges and plates, they're 18 karat gold, which means this is a weighty watch. Gold case, gold movement, and gold dial, albeit white gold dial right here. Now, the watch is a 120-hour chronometric power reserve, though it won't actually stop from a full wind for about 7 days. It'll run for 160 hours absolute. And just about the only feature it doesn't have is hacking, which is an unusual thing on a Journe watch, hacking. You won't find that commonly. We have polished screws, we have engine turning on the base plate, we have a nice polished bevel on the edge of the bridges, circular Côte de Genève, and a sort of grand dorge or barleycorn treatment on the rotor itself. And this is all 30 meters water resistant, so just don't swim with it. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.